Papa gonna build a good home. Papa gonna make it sound. Papa gonna build a fence around. Mother Nature gonna blow the whole thing down. Boss gonna tell you to jump. Boss gonna tell you how high. Boss gonna tell you where you can sow. Mother Nature gonna swallow boss alive. Summer sun on our blistering hides. Knuckles bleed in their winter earth eyes. If this drought don't kill, it's gonna make us strong. But in the dust we thirst for rains. Only pray the rains don't bring hell. When the mother cursing bad winds came and knocked down a good man's home, when his family crawled out from underground, he took a look around. He smiled and said, that was close.
So I have a high risk. Pretty much, I don't think you could find a model that really disagrees too much with this location for where there's a very strong risk of a MCS tonight. A bunch of the other models just keep cells pretty much training across southern Minnesota.
Bill Giles starts the weather forecast mid-morning, describing the weather over the next several days and outlining potential missions.
I was just wondering about clouds tonight out ahead of that front. Interfering with laser operation.
William Farrar assists forecasters by identifying limitations the 8-hour flight may encounter.
I mean, I want to say, I think at least into the early evening, I would have thought it would stay relatively clear there because there was a lot of warm air, as we saw in the last day or two out ahead of the front. Once you get past dark time, it's harder for me to say.
As far as aircraft go, the P-3 aircraft, the takeoff time is currently scheduled for 8 p.m. The DC-8, we would ask to take off at the same time, at 8 p.m.
Following the forecast analysis, it is decided that tonight's weather scenario favors an MCS mission. The team gathers to draw up the initial flight plan for NASA's DC-8 Airborne Science Lab.
Into Nebraska, up into northern Minnesota. And we need to decide approximately where we would fly to the DC-8, understanding that we want to try to fly in the clear air ahead of the system. What we don't know real well is how much anvil is going to be out ahead of this. I don't think we can come over farther than about here, because that's the potential for a bore or anything coming out the front end of this. We probably want to do at least some tracks across this way as well. So I would say something like that.
William Farrar assists forecasters by identifying limitations the 8-hour flight may encounter. The Pecan domain was strategically located in the Central Plains to minimize interruptions to existing commercial flights.
And that's why I was concerned, is that if things are moving here, especially if you get the timing wrong and it gets there quicker, then you kind of get squeezed out.
Right. Where do you want to put the radars, I guess that's the question.
So here's Sioux Falls, here's Mitchell.
Sioux Falls is on the border?
Yeah, Sioux Falls is on the border.
So generally speaking, it's going to be in here somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the line's eventually going to come over that, right? So
I hope so.
I would think probably there's going to be anvil in that area long before a line gets there. So we'll try to get parallel to that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we maybe like.
We're probably going to invect them along.
So
if
we
the
may
line's
have to move that line and put another line.
That's
out
right.
farther out.
Yeah, we'll get rid of this line and then put another one down there. Yeah.
Okay. And then we do this for, say, a few hours?
I would probably make them 150.
150.
And we may modify that based on what we see. So, we have a bore sitting here, we may want to not go too far down this way. So, but
Once agreed upon by all forecasters, the preliminary flight plan is passed to the flight crew for preparation.
This is our projected flight plan right now. We're going to take off, go to southwestern Minnesota, set up a lawnmower pattern to measure the low-level jet and the inflow. We're going to repeat that several times. Right now, it does look like there are some mid-level clouds. I think it is going to be a cloudy night, so we may be moving around.
Scouts 1 and 2 carry multiple probes to be placed in the path of oncoming storms and measure any changes in temperature, dew point, wind speed, and direction. A group discussion outlining the mission for the night requires participants to bring an overnight bag due to distance from home base and potential for another mission the following night.
We're headed out to McCook, so go ahead and hit the highway.
The team heads out from Hays, Kansas, in search of the worst Mother Nature can conjure up. In Salina, Kansas, the DC-8 ground crew preps the plane for an 8-hour flight that will take it as far as Minnesota.
yeah. Go ahead and turn on the main power.
Let's take a drive under the moon. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon.
There's approximate point eagle for Domestic.
Let's take a drive under the moon. The sleeping small towns will pass by like the months you've been away. Let's catch up our lives in the hours till day. Let's take a drive under the moon. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon tonight. Let's take a drive under the moon. This old highway is lost and cold. How far must we go? Let's forget the past and try a new road. Let's take a drive under the moon. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon tonight. Let's take a drive under the moon, yeah. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon tonight. Let's take a drive under the moon.
LASE, the main instrument on the DC-8, is a laser-emitting device used to measure water vapor and atmospheric particulates. Clouds can block the laser, leading to a loss of data collection in the pre-storm environment. To avoid this problem, the DC-8 will fly in a lawnmower pattern as far as 100 miles in front of the storm.
Do you guys have an approximate time of what time you launch those soundings? That's a lot of times.
4:45, give or take.
So go ahead and start dropping your pods and text or call or radio when you're done. Wizard is.
CSWR was one of the largest groups in Pecan, and we operated 3 Doppler on wheels, 3 mobile mesonettes, 10 or 15 deployable weather stations called pods. We launched soundings. The DC-8 from NASA was involved. The goal of Pecan, like many weather studies, is to try to understand a particular phenomenon better. And usually it's true that if we understand something better, we can predict it better. There were about 100 people out in Pecan. Dozens of them now are scientists and grad students, engineers, software engineers who are looking through all the terabytes of data that were collected. Probably even 10 years from now, people will be looking at Pecan data and still learning things from it because there's such great data sets. Better understanding leads to better forecasts, which really leads to human impact, positive human impact.